So, I am Reverend Lindy Broderick, and we have met, and I'm glad you've tuned in. So, do you want to start with perhaps some of your questions before I may cover what I would have said in responding to your questions. So, do you want to go with your questions first?
One question that I had was for going to church on Sunday for a student that does not have a car. Are there ways that some of the community churches provide rides, or how does that work?
Absolutely. So there are different choices. We do encourage students to attend local churches on Sundays. That's why we do not offer a chapel service on Sundays. One choice, we do have I need to preface that with before COVID time and after COVID. So normally we have a Presbyterian church that uses Brown Chapel as their home on Sundays. So that's one option if a student wanted to attend services and just walk across campus and attend that in Brown Chapel. Then there are a lot of students who are attending different denomination services. I know there are a lot of Catholics on campus who ride together to the closest Catholic church. And we have a very good relationship with local churches. The beginning of the year, we have what's called Campus Connections, and it's a fair where all of the different denominations who are interested in developing a relationship with centenary students, they come and have a booth, and students are free to browse and get to know the different churches. And then the churches make arrangements to either pick up a student or have them ride with others, have maybe somebody from the congregation pick them up. So does that help answer your question?
Yes, that's fine. That leads to another question I had about, you said there was a strong Catholic students, some Catholic students there. Do they have a club, or do they meet or something like that?
Good question, because that's one of the areas I was going to cover. We have a vibrant campus ministry program, and so we do have a Catholic student organization that meets on a weekly basis. We also have an active Baptist collegiate ministry group that also meets on a weekly basis, and they are additionally connected to the LSU Shreveport Baptist Collegiate Ministries chapter. So they play ultimate frisbee together, but our centenary group also meets independently in one of the dorms. We have a United Methodist student movement that needs to get reactivated. I'll admit it was not as active as it could have been last academic year. Let's see. So our largest student groups, if you will, as far as denomination on campus is a large number of Baptists, a large number of Catholics. Second largest number is United Methodists. We also have the Canterbury House, which is the Episcopal student organization, and they actually have a house which is on Centenary's property. We consider that on campus, and it is listed on campus maps. So they have activities at the Canterbury House. We have an interfaith group called Beliefs and Values that allows students to discuss their commonalities and their different beliefs. And we also have, we consider them a campus ministry group, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, that also meets on a weekly basis. And then in addition to all of the campus ministry groups, we do have chapel once a week. It's on Tuesdays during what's considered the convocation hour. It's a time that's set aside when no classes are offered, and that time is protected every Tuesday and Thursday from 11:10 until noon. And Tuesdays is set aside for chapel for those who choose to attend. Chapel is not mandatory. And chapel services, in order to offer something for the wide range of beliefs, we have different services every week. We have the local Catholic Church comes in once a month to offer Mass on campus. We have, and a lot of the chapel services are student-led. For example, the Black Student Organization, they're leading one of the chapel services. We've had the International Student Organization plan and lead a chapel service last academic year. The Christian Leadership Center, they, as a part of their class assignment, they lead several chapel services. We have the Centenary Choir featured at a couple of chapel services. So that kind of covers the wide range of chapel and campus ministry opportunities for students. Other questions?
I think you answered the ones that I had. Thank you.
And let me also add that as chaplain, I am full-time, 24/7. When students, well, I'm full-time. When students are here, I'm available 24/7. So a lot of my role as chaplain is being a resource for students. Say a student needs someone to talk to and they might not need full-fledged counseling services, but perhaps they're dealing with some stress or anxiety or homesick. I am a resource where they can come visit with me. If they're having a crisis of some sort, I'm available to visit with them. And another thing for you to know as parents, and some of the things I've had to do in the past is if you have a death in the family, hopefully you won't during this time that your student is here on campus, but if you need assistance in notifying your student, I am here for you in that. I've had family members come to campus and meet me and have me go with them to notify their student of a death in the family. Last semester we had a student whose grandparent passed away, and his mother didn't want to give him that news if he were in his room by himself. So she called me, I went to his room, and then she notified him on the phone while I was with him. So those are some things that were available for you in that situation. The other thing to know is if for some reason your student needs to go into the hospital and you're not able to be here, I will go to the hospital and sit with them, pray with them before surgery if that's something that needs to be done while they're here. Wanted to let you know that that's a very important part of my job, and a resource for you. Does that generate any questions?
No, but that was really good information. I never really considered those as being possible realities of ways that my kid might need you.
Just consider me as you would your local pastor. While your child's here at Centenary, just consider me as you would your pastor, as I'm here for them and you while they're here on campus.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And my background, this is second career for me, so I spent 30 years in the business world and then heard my call to ministry. I have completed seminary. I did my seminary work with Garrett Theological Seminary, which is located on the Northwestern campus in Evanston, Illinois, and have served as pastor of 3 small rural churches before I came to Centenary. So just to let you know some of my background and qualifications. And I am a United Methodist ordained minister. So I'm trying to think, I think I've covered just about everything. Oh, I know what I didn't tell you. Are you interested in knowing more about the Christian Leadership Center?
Sure, I have no idea what that is.
So it's kind of a dual role. In the past, Centenary, the chaplain's role and the head of the Christian Leadership Center used to be 2 separate roles, but now I do both of those. So the Christian Leadership Center it used to be called Church Careers, and it was designed to train those students who felt that their vocation was to work in a church, to be clergy, to be, as far as working in a church, it could either be as a youth minister, music minister, church administration, just the whole range of church careers. And that's how this program started here back in the 1970s. It has transformed as we're seeing fewer and fewer students wanting to go into the ministry, full-time ministry. So now we work with students on those who are committed to their faith and they want to embrace that during their time here in college. So it's a class that they take that meets every Thursday evening. It's kind of a hybrid campus ministry group, hybrid class for which they get, which they earn class credit. And so every year we have a topic. So if a student takes the Christian Leadership Center class, it's called colloquium because it's discussion oriented. If they take the class every year that they're at Centenary, the topic rotates each year. So over the course of 4 years, they would have covered, this year the theme is spiritual formation. Another year it's spiritual disciplines. Another year it's servant leadership. And then the 4th year is Church of the 21st Century. So this year, the book we're using for fall semester it's called Spiritual Formation. This is a classic by Henry Nouwen, and we'll be discussing with students and working them through not only for their spiritual growth, but also how they can help others in growing in spiritual formation. And it's things like having a regular prayer routine, the importance of silence and how do you hear God speak to you. We'll go through some prayer techniques that go back in ancient Christianity from Lectio Divina, which is divine reading, and the repeated meditation on Scripture. We'll talk about how important growing in community and being committed in community is to growing in your Christian faith. The importance of service in your Christian faith. So the Christian Leadership Center, students enroll in it as they would a class, and we also require students who are enrolled in CLC to be a part of a small group, and it's a covenant group. So in addition to class, they meet with their small group, which is led by local clergy who come in to be the mentors for these small groups throughout the semester. And students have said that CLC and their small groups are like the highlight of their week, because the small groups in particular, it's simply an opportunity to provide nurture and spiritual support for students while they're here on campus. So it's no stress, no pressure, just kind of come and we ask, like, how are things with your soul? And encourage students to build that covenant relationship with one another. And then our class on Thursday night, it's we have snacks, and we try and keep it participation oriented and discussion oriented, so that too is enjoyable, and students look at it as a foundation in their week to help keep them spiritually grounded. So that's another option for your student while they're here on campus. And I think that covers just about everything in the chaplain's office and Christian Leadership Center. Oh, I did think of one more thing. For students who really want to go deep, we do have a religious studies department. And if a student takes 3 religious studies courses, in addition to being enrolled in the Christian Leadership Center, 6 out of their 8 semesters here at Centenary, they are eligible for what we call endorsement, that they are endorsed by the Christian Leadership Center. It looks really good on their resume if they're going to seminary or if they want to go to work in a church. It also gives them the honors cords that they wear at graduation, that they achieved endorsement by the Christian Leadership Center. I welcome any final questions, comments.
Now on that, the Christian Leader Thursday night class, do they register for that with their academic advisor when they do all that, or is that something that gets added on later?
They register with their advisor at the beginning of each semester. So yes, they need to. Yes. So I know they've not registered yet. So when they register, they do need to mention that to their advisor. It can be added, like a lot of students, since it's not a part, unless they're a religious studies major, but a lot of students forget those courses that aren't within their required curriculum for their major. So a lot of them go back and add that. And we can add it from our end by me contacting the registrar's office on their behalf. But yes, please, if they're interested in that, please ask them to mention that to their advisor.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else? Well, thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure having you here, and I wish you a safe and happy 4th of July. And if I can answer any questions later on, I think you know how to reach me via email or by phone with that information in your materials. You can find me online. If you need me once the school year starts, please do not hesitate to call me, as I am here for all of you. Well, we will sign off then. So have a great one. Thanks for tuning in.